Hey everyone, how's it going? So what we'll do now is add the ability for users to delete posts. So a nice delete button when they own the post, and it will allow them to get rid of it if they want to. So let's go back to our text editor, and the first thing we'll do is just close some of these files down. We don't need all these, so I'll just close down a lot of these. I'll keep comment.js, I'll close down post page. In fact, I'll go from here and we can open up any pages we need. So we do need mixins.pug, so let's open that file. And you can see here how we have this create modal dialog. We're going to do something pretty much identical to this, just changing some small pieces of code. So copy that create modal mixin function and paste it below. And of course, let's change the name. Let's use create, what are we going to call this? Create delete post modal. And one thing, be careful you don't have spaces underneath this. Sometimes when you have trailing lines, or sorry, lines, not spaces. Sometimes when you have trailing lines in Pug files, it can cause errors, so these ones are particularly difficult to spot if you do have them, so make sure you don't have extra lines or spaces underneath where your code ends. Okay, anyway, so we've created a function called create delete post modal, and this will create the modal which allows you to delete a post. And first thing we'll do is change some of these IDs, so we'll call it delete post modal, so delete post modal, and then in fact I'll copy the delete post word and let's just use that whenever we get a reply word. Paste, oops, I'm gonna get rid of that R. So delete post modal, and then we've got a reply here. To be fair, we don't need this in the body, so we have this modal body element, and we can get rid of all the stuff inside because all we're going to put in there is a paragraph tag, so P, and then the text is going to be you won't be able to delete this. Okay, so you won't be able to delete this will be the body of this dialogue. Oh yeah, and the title is not going to be reply, it's going to be delete the post. Okay, this stuff can stay the same. Where else do we have reply? We've got reply here. It's not gonna be. It won't be submit reply button. It will be just delete post button. I don't know if we're going to use this ID for anything. I think we don't need it, but let's just put it there anyway. And the text isn't going to be reply. It's going to be what we're going to say delete. Okay. Oh, and we also don't need this disabled part. This is when we were doing the reply. And obviously when there's no text in the text area, we were disabling the button. But of course, it's a delete modal. We're never going to disable this button. And I think that's it. Oh, actually, let's replace this one. I forgot about this one. So reply modal label. We're going to change that to delete post modal label, which is this element here. And then I think that's it. All right, let's give that a try. We can always come back and add something later if we forgot it. So let's go ahead and call this function. So we've added this function, but we haven't done anything with it. So I'll go to, where are we doing this? Home, is it home.pug? Yeah, I think it's home.pug. Yeah, we have this create reply modal part, and we want to add this here underneath for create delete post modal, and I'll pass in use logged in as well. Oops, get your parentheses right, like that. Now, there's another thing though. We actually want to add this in another place too. We have this view, what is it, post page, I think it's called, post page.pug. Yeah, we have it right here as well. And you can see how we're having to add this in multiple places. Now, we're going to have to add these two on any pages that we want to use these functions. So any post that will allow the user to reply to a post, or any page that will allow the user to delete a post, we'll have to add these two there. So on the home page, for example. So what we can do is refactor this slightly. And we can actually take these two. So I'm taking both of those from postpage.pug, and I will go back to mixins, and we'll create another function underneath this. So mixin create post modals. Okay, and it will take a user logged in parameter, and I'll just paste them in there. So essentially what we're doing is calling a mixin function, which will give us all of these mixin function calls. Okay, so the reason we're doing that is because now we can just take this one and call it from post page like this instead, right? And the reason that's good is because we're also going to do it on home.pug. So replace it on home.pug like that. The reason that's good is because we can now just call this one function and we'll have any of the modals we need for related to the posts. So we will add another one in here soon for the pinned post functionality. So, of course, by adding it in this one place, it will already be taken care of in any pages that we add this to. So, yeah, this is a much better way. And I also realized, though, we won't need the user logged in the delete post modal one, so get rid of that from that parameter. And then, of course, we'll delete it from here as well, like that. So get rid of the user logged in. We don't need that in this function. All right, give that a save. And before we can call this, we actually need to add the button which is going to fire this. So at the moment, if we refresh the page, we would see this on the page. Well, you wouldn't see it, but it would be there. But we don't have any way of action in this, so opening this modal. So we have to go back to common.js in the create post function, create post HTML. Where is it? Somewhere along here. Right here. So in the create post HTML function, right near the bottom, what we're going to do is add a little bit of code here, which will give us the delete button if we have it. Okay, so underneath there, right before the return line, we'll say var buttons equals and just an empty string, and then we'll say if, and then post data, where is it? Post data dot underscore ID equals and then user logged in dot underscore ID. This means that the post belongs to the user who's logged in. And then what we can do, say buttons equals, and then we'll do backticks to open the string so that we can inject some values into it. We'll create a button HTML element, so button, and then close it off as well, like that. Oops, I've got an L in there. So button. And then we need to add the attributes to this button, which will allow us to open this modal. So we can just say data ID equals, and then put double quotes. And inside the double quotes, we'll just inject our value. And the value is going to be post data dot underscore ID, so the ID of the post. And this is what we use to get the post ID of the post we want to delete once they said they want to delete it. And then we'll say data toggle equals modal. This is the bootstrap thing that allows us to actually open the modal. And the last thing is just say data target equals, and double quotes, we'll put the ID, which we said delete post modal. So take that and put that with a pound sign, oops, like that. So pound sign and then the ID used. And then this should now open the modal. But the last thing we'll do is just add an icon to this so it doesn't look quite so terrible. We'll say I, and then I'll close the I tag off, if I can. I, and then inside there, we'll just give it a class which makes the icon look nice. So I've got the icon here. It's a little times button, but it looks like a cross. It's like a close button. So FAL and then FA-times, and this will give you a little cross that you're used to seeing. All right. And I can see I've actually named this button instead of buttons, so add an S there, so it's buttons. And then take that, and let's add that. So underneath here, underneath this span, we're going to just add buttons like this. And this means if it's not the user's post, it will just be an empty string, so nothing will be there. But if it is the user's post, it will just have the delete button there. So let's take a look at what that looks like. If I go back to here, we should see a delete button now, which, oh, I'm on the wrong page. So let's go back to here and refresh this page, which is the correct one, and we should see a delete button, which we do not. Why don't we see that? Why don't we see it? Why don't we see that? Let me take this and let me see why. Do we have it in here? It's in the header. Okay, so we don't see it at all. Maybe this condition is wrong. So what I'll do is set a breakpoint there, and let's just check the condition. So I'll go to sources, go to common.js, I'll scroll down to our post right here, and I'll set a breakpoint and refresh the page, and we'll see what's wrong. Post data ID. Oh, I'm checking the wrong thing. Obviously, how can the post? Oh man, how can the post ID be the same as the user ID? I'm sure many of you spotted that. This is what you get when you try and record a video at 9:24 at night. So I should be in bed shortly, I think. So we don't want to obviously check that the post ID is the same as the user ID, because that would make no sense. What we want to do is check that the post data dot posted by, sorry about that. And okay, oops, oh man, I can't even spell it. Posted by, yeah, I definitely need to go to bed soon, I think. Post data, posted by .id. This will be fine now. I'm 50% sure of it. Did it hit a breakpoint? Oh no, we see something. No idea what that is, but we see something. Didn't hit any breakpoint. Oh no, we know it's fine though. So let's see what's going on with that thing. Oh, I know why. I've used the pro class, I bet. Let me go and... nope, looks good to me. I have no idea why that's not working. Maybe it is a pro icon. Let me go back to here and search for fontawesome.com. Maybe it's the wrong icon. Let me see. Icons, and let's find a delete button icon. It's called times though. I think it's actually a multiplication symbol. So yeah, I think I'm using the pro one. Let me click on this one. Alright, what we got? FAS, let's try that one. So now, I'll update this just so we can see. Oh, there we go, it's beautiful. Okay, so FAS times is what we want, not FAL times. Alright, we got there. That was a lot, but we made it. We now have this beautiful delete button. We're a little bit of styling to do. We're going to push it over to the corner, but it's a good start. Let's just make sure it opens the modal, and it does. Okay, awesome.